Hey everyone, welcome to Vlognukah. So first of all, happy Chanukah. Yes, I know this video is being uploaded on Christmas Day, but it is also Chanukah. And I'm Jewish, so happy Chanukah. Also, my name's Hannah, like Chanukah. So Vlogmas has just ended. If you don't know what Vlogmas is, it's where YouTubers vlog or do a video for every day in December leading up to Christmas. I've never done Vlogmas, but guess what? I'm gonna do Vlognukah, which is a thing I just invented, and it's vlogging for the 8 days of Chanukah. Not vlogging. I'm afraid you're not going to get daily vlogs. Video every day in Chanukah. Before we begin, I am drinking kiddish wine. This is Jewish kosher wine. So kiddish wine is what us Jews drink during services like Shabbos and Passover and Chanukah and any other Jewish festival that involves saying a prayer and drinking wine. One thing I will say is that when we do those prayers and we drink that wine, we drink it out of a tiny little goblet and we say the prayer and then we drink the wine. I don't think it's supposed to be drunk out of big glasses in large quantities. This is a learning curve for me because this is delicious. Kiddish wine is so sweet, it tastes like port, so it's just like drinking juice. So the purpose of this video is to explain what Chanukah is, the story of Chanukah, and how we celebrate Chanukah. The first thing I should mention is that me and my family, we are of Reform Judaism, I think. There's probably a lot more different types, but in my very basic Jew head, it's like Reform and Orthodox, and that's the difference between like very traditional and a bit more chillaxed. Also, another thing is that I don't know a lot about Judaism in the sense of the theology and the philosophy and all of that stuff. I know what I've been taught and I know what I've been brought up with, and I know the traditions and the songs and the things that me and my family do. And I feel like in Judaism, every family kind of does it different, especially the prayers, because we sing the prayers with a certain tune to it, and then I'll meet another Jewish friend and they'll be like, oh, we sing that prayer with this tune to it, and they have a whole different tune, and it's just really exciting. I love meeting other Jewish people. Chanukah. What is Chanukah? Chanukah is the Jewish festival of light. It lasts for 8 nights and 8 days. Jewish festivals always start in the evening when sun sets. So last night, the 24th of December, was actually the first night of Chanukah, but the 25th of December was the first day of Chanukah. When Chanukah happens changes every year. It's usually in December-ish time. It's kind of like how Easter changes. It's always in March, April, but it varies. This year it's quite a late one. The final day of Chanukah is New Year's Day. Whoa, unheard of. This is how we celebrate it. For each night of Chanukah, you light a new candle on the Chanukiah. Chanukiah is a 9-candled thing. The menorah is the one with 7. Chanukiah has 9 because it's got one middle one and then it's got 8, 4 either side. And each one of those 8 represents a night. And each night you light that number of candles. The middle candle is called the shamash. I'm a good Jew. You light that candle with a match or a lighter or whatever, and then you take that candle and then you light the other candles with it. You go right to left. Hebrew, you read right to left, so you read it the other opposite way that you read English. So you light the candles right to left. 85% sure. First night, you take the shamash and you light candle 1. Second night, you light 2 candles. Third night, 3 candles. You get it. As you're doing that, you're saying the prayers, and then you'll have a bit of kiddish wine and maybe bread, or is that just the Friday night thing? Then, what happens next? Songs. My faves are Sevivon, Sof Sof Sof, and Marzor. Absolute bangers. Then I get a present. This is what I don't know how it happens in other Jewish families, but in my family, so you know how Christmas everyone gets each other presents? For Chanukah, it's the older generations get the younger generation presents. So I don't buy anyone else Chanukah presents. I just receive Chanukah presents from my parents, from my grandparents, from my great-grandma, from my aunties, uncles, and you get one present each night. However, since becoming an adult and moving out, I don't often get to spend all of the nights of Chanukah at home because sometimes I'll be in London or I was at uni and so I couldn't come home for all of Chanukah. So it's kind of if you're home, we'll give you a present. And then, but I'm always home for Christmas Day. So then we do Christmas as well, because my dad's family is not Jewish. So, ooh, and then dreidel. Oh, dreidel, 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 let me... So we play dreidel. That's a great game. Here's a story. So I always used to get Hanukkah gelt at Hanukkah. That to me was like a Hanukkah thing, Hanukkah gelt. And then I remember being on the playground one day when I was like 14, 15 in school. And all of the other kids had Hanukkah gelt. And I was just like, whoa, what's going on? And I was like saying to my friends, like, oh my God, you have Hanukkah gelt too? That's so cool. And they were like, what's Hanukkah gelt? And I'm like, that. And they're like, what, chocolate money? And then I realised that it wasn't a special Jewish thing. It was a Christmas chocolate thing. But my whole life, chocolate money was Hanukkah gelt. Okay, let's move on to the story of Hanukkah and why we celebrate Hanukkah. The first thing you need to know about any Jewish festival is they tried to kill us. We won. Let's eat. That's the basics covered, except for Yom Kippur where we fast. But most Jewish festivals revolve around food and eating, and there's usually specific foods that you eat for that celebration. I recently rewatched the Rugrats episode about Hanukkah as research and revision. A Maccabees gotta do what a Maccabees gotta do. A long time ago before Jesus was born, maybe like a few hundred years before Jesus was born, the Jews lived in the Middle East somewhere. I don't want to name a country because that's controversial, but the city of Jerusalem was involved. There was a king, a Syrian king, called King Antiochus. He may be King Antiochus the first, second, third, I don't know. He was all like, hey everyone, you gotta worship these Greek gods now, and I'm going to erect a statue of myself in the temple, and you have to worship it. And the Jews were like, dude, have you read the 10 Commandments? Like, have you read them, mate? Because one of them says, can't worship idols and things. Like, you just have to worship God. You can't worship, like, statues and things. And so the Jewish people kind of had to be all, like, secretive in their faith. Because they were being forced by the Syrian king to be all like, you gotta worship these Greek gods. And they were all like, nah, mate. Then there was a rebel group of Jews, and they were called the Maccabees. No relation to the band, the Maccabees. Maybe the band, the Maccabees, got inspiration. Maybe they're Jewish. So this rebel Jewish group called the Maccabees, led by, I want to say Judas Maccabee, but also Judas is a different part of the Bible, but that just rings a bell to me. There might have been a lot of guys called Judas around that time. I don't know. The Maccabees revolt, and the Maccabees are like, nah, we'll fight you. And so they fought, and there was like a 3-year war, and everything was ruined, and it was horrible, but the Jews won. If you've been paying attention, they tried to kill us, we won. Let's eat. We'll get to the eating part in a bit. So the Jews won. The war is over, and the Jews have managed to reclaim Jerusalem for their own. Woo, woo, woo. But the temple is destroyed. I don't know why I'm saying temple. In every story I've heard, they say temple, but Jews worship in a synagogue. I don't know why that is. In Jewish synagogues, in Jewish places of worship, there is a light that is always on, or the everlasting light. Back in those days, they didn't have electricity, but what they did have was oil. And so the light was kept burning with oil. Temple is destroyed, and they only find enough oil to keep it alight for 1 day. And it's going to take them like 8 days to get more oil because they don't have Amazon Prime. But they light it anyway. And when they light it, they like rededicate the temple to God. And Hanukkah, from what I believe, means rededication, because it's about how they then rededicated the temple to God. This is when the miracle happens. This is the good shit. The light stays alight for 8 days and 8 nights. It's the Hanukkah miracle. And so then they manage to get more oil and they can keep it alight. But the miracle is that the oil that should have only lasted 1 day lasted 8. And that's why we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 nights and 8 days. Proper exciting stuff. And then here we go. Let's eat. Getting on to the food bit now. We eat oily foods at Hanukkah to celebrate the oil lasting. So we have potato latkes, which are like potato pancakes and they're just like fried in a load of oil, and donuts. A lot of potato pancakes and donuts. Potato latkes are amazing. I'm gonna do a whole video for Vlognukah about like Chanukah food and Chanukah games, and I'll probably make some latkes. Although I think I do have like a very old video of me making latkes on my channel somewhere. But yeah, that's Chanukah. One of my favourite Jewish festivals. I think my favourite's Passover. Chanukah is cool though because it's kind of near Christmas and I get presents. But the food at Passover is just like, that's the story of Chanukah and how we celebrate Chanukah, at least in the Witton family. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you're Jewish and you're also celebrating Chanukah. Do you also celebrate Christmas? Did I manage to teach you anything about Chanukah? Did you know this already, or have you learned something? That would be cool. Happy Vlognukah, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!